You know, there's something uniquely powerful about a man who's grown into his age with style, wisdom, and confidence. Not the loud kind of confidence you see in youth, but the quiet, grounded kind that only life can teach. It's the kind of presence that doesn't need to prove itself, and because of that, it becomes even more attractive. A good-looking older man isn't just defined by his appearance, it's the total package. It's how he carries himself, how he speaks, how he looks at the world, and how he responds to it. And more importantly, it's how others respond to him, without him even trying. See, the world has this odd way of glorifying youth, but there's something timeless about mature masculinity. It's not about chasing trends or keeping up with what's new. It's about mastering the art of being. When an older man walks into a room and people take notice, not because he's flashy, but because there's something centered and magnetic about him, that's when you know he's got it. That kind of man doesn't chase attention, it comes to him. And the funny part? He often doesn't realize the effect he has. He thinks he's just doing what he's always done, reading people calmly, listening more than he speaks, standing a little straighter, dressing in clothes that fit his frame well. But people notice, especially women, especially younger women, who often see in him what they don't find in their peers: stability, experience, emotional intelligence, and a sense of direction. There's something about a man who's lived long, enough to have stories, who has nothing to prove but everything to offer. When you've experienced heartbreak, success, failure, love, loss, you develop a depth, and depth is incredibly attractive. It's rare. It's not something you can fake. It's not something you can buy. You either have it because you've lived or you don't. And when a man has that depth, it comes out in subtle ways. The way he pauses before speaking, not because he's unsure, but because he's choosing his words wisely. The way he looks you in the eye and holds your gaze, not in a challenging way, but in a reassuring, calm kind of way. The way he doesn't rush a conversation or try to dominate it. He knows that the most powerful thing in the room isn't volume, it's presence. Now let's talk about presence for a second. Presence is something that can't be bottled. You can't Photoshop it or filter it. It's the energy someone gives off when they walk into a space. And older men who are considered attractive tend to have that in spades. It's the product of years of learning not to react impulsively, of being comfortable in silence, of listening more than they speak. It's the product of emotional discipline, and that's something younger men are often still learning. Women, especially those who are mature or even younger women who are emotionally aware, pick up on that. They notice when a man doesn't need to compete. They notice when a man compliments them without trying to get anything in return. They notice when he asks how their day was and genuinely wants to know. That's not just charm. That's self-assuredness. That's emotional awareness. And let's not ignore the role of self-care here. A good-looking older man understands that his appearance still matters, not in a vain or superficial way, but in a way that communicates self-respect. He knows what works for him. He's not trying to dress like a 20-year-old, but he wears his style with intention. His grooming is on point, not overly polished, but just enough to show that he respects himself and the people he's around. And that kind of self-awareness goes a long way. But attraction isn't just visual, it's intellectual, it's emotional, it's spiritual. A man who's lived through enough to be humbled by life tends to listen differently. He doesn't interrupt to prove a point. He doesn't argue to win. He speaks when it adds value. And that's deeply attractive to anyone who's looking for more than surface-level connection. You know what else makes older men attractive? Boundaries. Clear, respectful, non-negotiable boundaries. That's a sign of a man who knows who he is. And ironically, that's what makes him approachable, because he's not easily swayed. He doesn't tolerate disrespect, and he doesn't offer it. That balance of kindness and firmness, that's what makes women feel safe and drawn in. And let's talk about the age gap dynamic for a moment. There's this misconception that it's only about appearance or resources, but what's often missed is the emotional polarity. Younger women are sometimes drawn to older men because they crave leadership, not dominance, but grounded, responsible leadership. They're tired of chaos, they want clarity, and an older man, when he's done the inner work, offers that. Not because he wants to control, but because he knows how to steer a situation calmly and thoughtfully. He's less reactive, more intuitive. This kind of man doesn't make promises he can't keep. He doesn't play with emotions. He doesn't ghost or breadcrumb. He's past all of that. He values his time and he values yours. And that makes everything he does feel more intentional. Even the way he texts, the way he calls, the way he shows up, it feels deliberate. It feels safe. And in a world of mixed signals, that kind of consistency becomes magnetic. Let's not forget how a man talks about his past. That alone says a lot. If he can speak about his ex with respect, even if things ended badly, that's maturity. If he can reflect on his mistakes without shame or denial, that's confidence. If he can admit he didn't always have it together, but he learned, that's growth. And growth is attractive because it means he's evolving. It means he's not stuck. It means he's someone who can adapt, love better, lead better. And speaking of love, let's touch on intimacy. A good-looking older man tends to understand that intimacy is more than physical. It's emotional connection, it's presence, it's attention. It's the way he listens without distractions, the way he notices little things, the way he makes someone feel seen. That's the kind of thing that lingers long after the moment is over. That's the kind of connection people remember. So when people wonder what makes an older man good-looking, it's really all of this. It's the way he's lived, the way he carries his scars, the way he treats people, the way he makes space for others, the way he's strong without being loud, firm without being cold, kind without being naive. That combination, that depth, that presence, that grounded confidence, it doesn't fade with age. It grows, and maybe that's the secret. That being a good-looking older man isn't about chasing youth. It's about owning your age. It's about stepping into your power, not trying to rewind the clock. It's about being someone who's not afraid to lead with heart, to be present without needing the spotlight, to attract without trying too hard. Because at the end of the day, real attraction isn't about the number on your driver's license. It's about the story you tell without words, the way your energy feels, the way you show up. And if you're the kind of man who shows up with respect, depth, and confidence, you're not just good-looking for your age. You're timeless.